Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel with myself, Isabella. I hope you are doing amazing today. I'm super excited about this video, and click the subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss another one. But in this video, we'll be looking at my top favorite pas de deux, and also there's a couple in there that probably are a little bit obscure for you and ones that we don't see very often. But the one we're going to be starting with in particular is the Talisman pas de deux. Now, you've probably seen a lot the Talisman variation, and I've just released a Learn Variations course with me where we actually look at the Talisman variation. And it's very subtle, it's very light, and it's very gentle in comparison to the actual pas de deux. Now, the whole pas de deux of Talisman is one that you see a lot at galas, for example, because it's not often that the whole ballet is put on anymore. But the pas de deux itself is extremely stamina testing, and it's a huge challenge for the dancers, both physically, technically, and stamina-wise. Now, before we begin, I wanted to read a little bit about the Talisman pas de deux and what it is actually about, because it's one of those obscure ballets that potentially we don't know what it's about. So I've got my sources here, so we'll read through. So here we go about Talisman. The music is by Riccardo Drigo, and the libretto is by Konstantin Tarnowski and Marius Petipa. Let's talk about the plot. Set in ancient India, the beautiful young goddess Ella, the daughter of Amravati, the queen of the heavens, descends to earth with her guardian, Uragan, the wind god, to test if she can resist the temptations of mortal love. If she fails, she will forfeit her right to immortality. So dramatic. Amravati has given her daughter a sacred talisman that will enable her to return home as long as it remains in her possession. For if she were to lose it, she cannot return to the heavens. During their visit to Earth, Ella and Uragan encounter the young Maharaja Nureddin, I hope I'm saying that right, who falls in love with Ella. Despite being engaged to the princess Damayanti, daughter of King Agdar, Nureddin gains possession of the talisman, and after he learns the secret behind the sacred object, he is determined that Ella should stay on Earth and become his wife and queen. Ella and Uragan resort to great measures to retrieve the talisman from Nureddin so that Ella can return to her mother. However, Ella soon realizes that immortality and celestial delights cannot match the happiness that Nureddin offers her with his love, and ultimately chooses to stay with him on Earth as a mortal woman. Really amazing. Crazy. Let's read a little bit more about the history. The Talisman was the creation of Petipa and Riccardo Drigo. It was choreographed and produced by Petipa for the benefit performance of Elena Conalba. The ballet was unique for its time because it consisted of two male principal roles, the role of Nureddin, created by Pavel Gert, and the role of Uragan, created by Enrico Cicchetti. The Talisman was premiered on the 6th of February, 1889, at the Imperial Mariinsky Theatre in 4 acts and 7 scenes. Have you noticed, this is how much history Russian ballet has, and the Mariinsky? Have you noticed how so many ballets first premiered at the Mariinsky Theatre? How incredible is that? So, I don't know, to have that privilege to have even danced on that stage, for me, is just the greatest gift. I mean, so carry on. The production was lavish, to say the least, with colossal stage transformations and sumptuous decors. The second act featured a spectacular finale, after Nureddin rejected Princess Damayanti in favor of Ella. Uragan caused the ground to split open, with flames emerging in his effort to protect Nureddin from the wrath of King Agdar and to save Ella's talisman. So yes, I mean, we could go on, but you get the idea. So sounds like it was a very interesting and dramatic ballet. And when we watch the pas de deux, you can see some of that drama. And so I assume we're watching Nureddin and Ella. Correct me if I'm wrong, if it's the other male character, but I'm pretty sure it's that. So yes, I'm excited to watch. So now we're going to watch the Talisman pas de deux. We're just going to watch the actual literal pas de deux when they dance together. And this is also at the Mariinsky Theatre with Osmolkina and Labukin. Not only do I just love the music so much. I could literally listen to this all day. And it's, if you know the Talisman variation, it's just such a contrast. She comes on here. And it already, starts with this sumptuous music. And it's so joyful. She's a beautiful dancer, as Mokina, as a side note. It's a very free, all the movements are very free. Like nothing too much is holding poses or staying, so you can really kind of throw it away slightly and be expressive with it. It's a very interesting part to a pas de deux, like a very interesting start. Starts with the female on her own, with this being an introduction. I have seen my friends rehearse this, and difficult double pirouette into attitude at the beginning of the pas de deux. And by this moment in the ballet, she's already, in the pas de deux, she's already very out of breath, like I know from watching my friends rehearse this. And the music, again, completely changed. It's very dramatic. But I assume because, he's from the heavens, that's what's given him this sort of Zeus-like appearance, Really nice. But it's a huge start for both of them, like a very dramatic start. It's quite hard going from off stage to not dancing to suddenly all these jumps, all these pirouettes, Usually the pas de deux, I would say, like, just slightly warms you up a bit. I just love the music so much. So perhaps, I'm quite unfamiliar with the actual ballet story of this. Perhaps this is the pas de deux where he's trying to convince her to stay on Earth. Look at her beautiful lines. So lovely with the music. Now they're finally together. Quick turns. Oh, so fun. Just so many. But there's so many jumps in this. It's quite challenging. So it's probably quite a relief that the variation after this is very soft. It has many difficult things in here, but she looks so light and she does really suit the role. So nice. What a beautiful pas de deux. So hang on, that was just the beginning, right? That was just the very start. That was just the sort of, let's say, prologue of the pas de deux. So this is the very start. So a lot of dancers, this confused me for a second, because a lot of people who do this pas de deux cut out all of that section. So for example, when Osmolkina just did that very first pirouette into attitude to the kneel, the male would jump on and then they'd start from this section and cut out all that extra bit, because obviously that's super challenging, because that makes this pas de deux really long. But look, it's so dramatic and passionate, and there's a lot of love involved, and it's just such a Russian ballet, you know, so much drama. It would be impossible not to enjoy dancing this variation. Her lines is very beautiful. And again, everything's very throwaway, you know? All the movements are very dramatic, quick change of direction. Beautiful. Quite hard as well for the ballerina on that particular section to do piqué turns both sides. She has to do it right and left. And now this is it's such a hard pas de deux. It's so difficult. She has to go from throwing herself around, she's obviously exhausted, to then slow promenades, doing arabesque. Whenever she's doing those kind of pas de bras, that is her resting, that is her taking a deep breath and trying to regain some oxygen and some energy. He's strong, obviously, this man, like this dancer, very strong. Okay, so look, they finally finished. Bearing in mind, a whole pas de deux. Let's pause. Beautiful. You should watch the whole thing. I'll leave the link down below for you to watch the entire thing. That's 7 minutes. So bear in mind, a normal pas de deux is like 10 minutes long with the variations involved. So the beginning section with them both dancing, the pas de deux itself, and then each other's variation, male and female, and then coda. It's usually 10 minutes. So that alone has been 7 minutes. So it's no wonder they're absolutely exhausted. And having watched my friends rehearse this, because it's not really something a tall dancer does. So I've watched my smaller dancer friends do it and watched them firsthand rehearse this. By the coda, they are just absolutely dead, like absolutely cooked. Can't do any more, throwing themselves into the jumps because it is so challenging. But I just love it. I think I'm very much drawn to music and pas de deux, which are passionate, dramatic, and have such beautiful music that makes you want to dance, makes you want to do it. And it's a very free pas de deux, like everything's a bit throwaway, which I love. So yeah, amazing. So that is the Talisman pas de deux, which I think, I would love to see more people do that. I would also love to see the whole ballet come back. Like I really feel like we've lost a lot of amazing ballets, and it would be great to see them more these days rather than just in galas. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next one, and we're going to watch now. I'm going to keep it a little bit obscure. So now we're going to be looking at one that is super well known. We're going to be looking at Black Swan pas de deux. Again, just the pas de deux. I'm not focusing on the solos or the coda today. Otherwise, this will be an hour and a half. But again, it's just Tchaikovsky magnificence. Now, sometimes you do get the dancers doing this with the male, and then here she's on her own. I personally prefer it when she's with the male, because then you just get like more of a lift in the jump. I mean, naturally, because he's lifting her. And then there's just that instant connection between them. But obviously sometimes they keep them separated. But I just love the strength of the character. I just love the use of epaulement and the seductive nature of the pas de deux and the confidence of the pas de deux. You know, and I think it's also so challenging. But I think anyone who's feeling hesitant in class, I think we've got to channel our inner Odile, you know, and really think, oh, what would she do? She'd go for it, for sure. And moments of these extreme movements, these extreme arabesques and penché, are just very impressive to watch. Quite hard doing that. Notice how her arms are behind her. What I've always admired about Olga is she's never afraid. You know, she's not afraid of opportunity. Bearing in mind she's here dancing Swan Lake at the Bolshoi Theatre, where many stars have been before her. And you can imagine doing that for the first time, not even being from the Bolshoi, being from Vaganova, that being scary, you know. But she's unafraid. She's focused on doing her best because she loves ballet and she loves dancing. But there's a lot of weight and pressure on these things. But I think for any female, any woman, it's just such a fun role to play as well. You know, being able to act this sort of seducing character. This powerful character. But such a challenging pas de deux because you have this going on, then you have to do a challenging, very technical variation, and then the 32 fouettes, the renowned 32 fouettes. It's a very nice set as well that the Bolshoi have. You can see what a massive stage it is. You wouldn't normally be able to fit that many people at the back. And Jacopo Tisci, who is, I assume, Italian. Beautiful dancer. I believe he is at Berlin Staatsoper now. I may be wrong, but I believe he's moved on. This is her pretending to be Odette, like, no, you're not confused. It's definitely me. I'm definitely the one you fell in love with. I've changed my feathers slightly, but that's just for the party, you know. I love that movement, like come to my open arms. Actually, no, I've changed my mind because I'm the one in control here. You know, and you see many ballerinas tripping up at this point, and not literally tripping up, but making mistakes here because fundamentally they're just exhausted. Almost there. One of my favourite moments are always the small moments when he offers his hand and then she does this big gesture and just looks deeply into his eyes. Addresses the audience before she développes. Very difficult. And then with the music, you do this big grand gesture. And that beautiful line. Amazing. Amazing. And they take some deep breaths. One of my favorite pas de deux, and in fact the whole thing, because it's just so nice seeing the progression of the pas de deux as well, from the pas de deux to the solo, and seeing this prince sort of in love with the wrong woman, and then you see the sort of seductful Odile with her eyes and how she looks, and where you look with your eyes and how you use your pas de bras is so important in this this variation. That's again a variation we have recently done in Learn Variations with Me on my platform, looking into all the nuance and the technical skill. So guys, now let's move on. So now we're going to be looking at, again, quite an obscure one. I wanted to look at Spartacus. Now, Spartacus is one, again, that's just not often done. It's done most often by the Russian companies. Not even that often done by the Mariinsky. It's mostly done by the Bolshoi. I'm going to read a little bit about Spartacus for you so we know, because I'm sure some of us don't actually know a lot about it. So Spartacus, or in Russian it's known as Spartak, is a ballet by Aram Khachaturian, or Spartak in Russian, is a ballet by, now I really hope I'm saying this right, I'm not so good at the pronunciation of the names if I've never heard it before, is a ballet by, music by, that is, Aram Khachaturian, and the choreography is by Leonid Jakobson, and it premiered in 1956 at the Mariinsky Theatre and for the original ballet company. So the work follows the exploits of Spartacus, the leader of the slave, uprising against the Romans, known as the Third Civil War. Although the ballet storyline takes considerable liberties with the historical record, Khachaturian composed Spartacus in 1954 and was awarded a Lenin Prize for the composition that same year. It was first staged in St. Petersburg, then known as Leningrad, on the 27th of December 1956 as choreographed by Leonid Jakobson for the Mariinsky Theatre, or the Kirov Theatre of Opera and Ballet, where it stayed in the repertoire for many years, but only with qualified success since Jakobson abandoned conventional point in his choreography. Jakobson restaged his version for the Bolshoi in 1962, and it was part of the Bolshoi's 1962 tour to New York. The ballet received its first staging at the Bolshoi Theatre, Moscow, in 1958, choreographed by Igor Moiseev. However, it was the 1968 production, choreographed by Yuri Grigorovich, which achieved the greatest acclaim for the ballet. Spartacus remains one of Khachaturian's best-known works and is prominent within the repertoires of the Bolshoi Theatre and other ballet companies in Russia. I would say, yeah, it's actually most common in the Bolshoi's repertoire. I've actually never seen it done at the Mariinsky since I was there and since I was around. So that's very, very interesting. It's interesting how ballets evolve and choreographers take over. The person who we're watching today is, oh my gosh, we're going old school a little bit. We're looking at Vladimir Vasilyev, who was an amazing ballet dancer. I mean, just an icon and someone that, again, just never goes out of style. And his partner, Ekaterina Maximova, and they danced together a lot, and they were very much known as a duo, you know, similar to Fontaine and Nureyev, two icons together religiously. And I think Vasilyev often even coached Maximova and helped her. There are a few videos circling around on social media and things on YouTube. But you know, what's so nice about this particular couple in this pas de deux is nothing looks challenging, you know? Despite this probably being extremely difficult, they make it look so smooth, so effortless, and that's what a great partnership is. Amazing. Sensational. Incredible. Kind of taken aback. I mean, it's very hard to beat, you know, some of these legends. I mean, absolutely stunning. Okay, so that's another reason why I just adore that pas de deux. So that, along with Talisman, quite similar vibe. It's very passionate. Black Swan and Diamonds, a little bit more classically impressive, let's say. But Diamonds as well is very emotive and very beautiful to watch. So guys, now we're going to go into, this video is going to be quite long. So there's two more. There's two more, which are my favorites. Instead of breaking this up into two videos, I'll do it here. So I've got a couple more. One is like actually very old. We'll finish with that one. Another one is just one that's I'm quite nostalgic about and I adore because I've done it a lot myself. And it's the Corsaire pas de deux. And we're going to be watching Victoria Tereshkina and Vladimir Shklarov, who he's an amazing dancer. I really like Shklarov. It's also, let's say, it's quite a simple pas de deux, which is why it's often given to younger dancers, because it's not the most challenging. But when I was growing up and I was doing this pas de deux, I found it very hard to do all the linking steps. So these bourrées forward were quite a challenge. They are quite difficult. You have to keep the legs quite straight. Unlike normal bourrées, you have to actually keep the legs quite straight and really think about the back leg pushing you forwards. But it's just such nice music as well. And for me, it was a pas de deux I welcomed in my repertoire, because I'd always watched Altanaya Silmuratova do this, who was just, stunning and amazing. And then having to do it myself was just like a real gift. She also coached me on this herself a lot, her and her husband, Ziklinski, because they often danced together. Ziklinski often did the role of Gunara's captor, and so sometimes in various productions they have the two men with Medora. But those bourrées around were also challenging. It's just hard to make look elegant. It's very nice to do a promenade though, it's just fun. Then with these steps, you have to have nice long legs. It also takes a lot of strength in that back leg to keep it up as you do that kind of promenade. And the big lift. Very nice and confident. Big port de bras together. But Tereshkina has this ability herself, talking about the dance, of just making it look so easy. And she's very light and fluid. And not only that, she has a beautiful physique. And she's one that's like really improved over time. A much shorter pas de deux than the ones we've been watching. Finishing with some pirouettes. Oh. Last pirouette. And finish. A short and sweet pas de deux, but again, one that's just really beautiful, really nice to watch, and has that amazing music once more. So it's often used with dancers who are a little bit inexperienced or just starting their journey in pas de deux, because it's relatively simple for them. So it's a great first pas de deux to do on stage. And it was the first pas de deux I did on stage. Now we're going to go to my final little pas de deux, which is, again, one that's definitely not done nowadays. It's super old, but it's called the Vienese waltz. It is with two fabulous dancers, Kurgapkina and Brigvadze. Now, Brigvadze I've spoken about before. He's just such a hoot. He used to teach at the Vaganova Academy. He's sadly died now, which is super duper sad. Because he was just such an amazing teacher. The boys loved him, super strict, like definitely batted the boys on the shoulder sometimes with his fist. But he was hilarious, and he was the one who, when he watched my class, he gave me a correction and said, "You must not drop your arms when you land from a jump." And I said, okay. And I applied the correction to that specific exercise. Then the next day, he came back and he was watching again. And then I finished the class and I left the studio. And I was halfway down the corridor and he screamed to me and he said, "England, England," like this in Russian, like, Anglia, Anglia, like this or something. He might even have said London, something. So I turned around. I was like, that's got to be me. There can't be anyone else he's talking about. And this was down the long corridors of Vaganova. I turn around and I go, yeah. And he goes, "Are you stupid?" And I was like, maybe. I'm assuming so. And then he said, I gave you a correction yesterday about not dropping your arms. So why are you dropping your arms in every other exercise? You need to apply it to every jump. And I was like, oh, right, okay. So he's very tough, and he would always, what we were about to see was him in his prime, doing an amazing, cute little pas de deux. But he used to walk around in shirts, open shirts. So he used to always wear a shirt, looking very baggy and just comfortable, you know. The top 4 buttons not undone, hairy chest, you know, this sort of character. And kind of shuffling around in his loafers. Quite civilized, really. Almost like he should be on a summer boat or something. Meanwhile, coaching legends of ballet. So now, let's watch this amazing pas de deux. Not only is the music great, but you do get a sense of his great personality as well. Oh, such a nice pas de deux, and just such a lovely memory of them dancing together. So guys, a whole variety of pas de deux. I've done the classics, I've done the old school things, and I've just done things I'm fond of. And I would say I've tried to also choose ones that we don't always watch, you know, ones that maybe you're not so familiar with. Like, I doubt we've all seen the Vienese waltz, so I hope you enjoyed it. I love anything with a lot of character, or like I said, drama and passion. I respond a lot to music, so where the music kind of really tells you what to do and the music makes you want to dance, those in my mind are my most favorite pas de deux, along with when there's a lot of connection between the partner, which is why Talisman and Spartacus and Diamonds are some of my top favorites. So guys, thank you so much for watching this epic long video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment down below what your favorite variations are. If you could let me know if there's a specific dancer and a specific version you enjoy watching, definitely let me know, because I just love, you know, we all love watching YouTube videos. You're watching mine right now, so I'll go later and watch your favorite version, because yeah, this is a community and I look forward to hearing what you have to say as well. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe so you don't miss another video. We're here to talk about ballet, share advice, and help you reach your goals, as well as just share our thoughts and opinions and spread our passion for ballet. So I'll speak to you and see you very soon. Bye for now.